Hello and welcome everybody, I'm Joshino and today I'm going to be going over my new audio setup. What I had before was the Blue Snowball by Blue, and now I have the Audio-Technica 2035, which goes through the audio input system, the Focusrite 2i2, and as you can see it is mounted on a boom arm and comes down onto a shock mount which comes along with the Audio-Technica 2035, which is very nice. And also I have a pop filter in front of it to stop the P's from exploding too much, even though they still do a little bit. Just to give you an idea of how this mic sounds compared to other microphones, what I'd say it sounds like is a lot more like a radio sounding voice. It gets a lot more of your tones and is very clear. Before we do the comparisons, I'll tell you a little about the Focusrite 2i2. The reason I went for it was because a lot of other YouTubers that did commentary recommended it, and also it has a very useful function with the halo LEDs, which are rings that either light up green when you are in a decent vocal range, or red when you're talking too, like just then, or red when you're talking too loudly and your audio may be at risk of going crackly or being corrupted. And it also has a headphone jack input on the right hand side, and you can control the monitoring of your microphone to hear, and you can hear the full volume in your headset. It also has this red button on the side, which is phantom power, which powers the Audio-Technica 2035 as it needs a power source to run, and it doesn't have any PSU or anything that plugs into the wall socket. It goes straight into the USB slot in the back of your PC, so it doesn't have any sort of clutter to add to your system setup. So let's do a few tests. So what I'm going to use as a test of the microphones is the introductory paragraph of The Storm Chaser, which is one of the Edge Chronicles by Paul Stewart and Chris Riddle. One of them's the illustrator, I'm not sure exactly, but I just picked this up out of my bookshelf, and it's one of my old favourite books when I was a lot younger. And I thought, well, it has quite an interesting first paragraph. Anyway, let's go. So this will be the Audio-Technica 2035. Far, far away, jutting out into the emptiness beyond, like a figurehead of a mighty stone ship, is the edge. A broad, swollen river, the edgewater pours endlessly over the lip of the rock at its overhanging point and down into the void below. Its source lies far inland, high up in the dark and perilous deep woods. Okay, now let's move on to the Snowball. Hello everybody, I'm back, and now I'm on the Blue Snowball, and this is also going to be unedited as the first one is, and you probably can tell the difference already with the sound. And I'm also the same distance away, about 2-3 inches, which I was doing for the Audio-Technica 2035, and I'm going to go ahead and read out the passage. Far, far away, jutting out into the emptiness beyond, like the figurehead of a mighty stone ship, is the edge. A broad, swollen river, the edgewater pours endlessly over the lip of the rock at its overhanging point and down into the void below. Its source lies far inland, high up in the dark and perilous deep woods. So I'll say that this microphone has served me very well for quite a long time, and obviously listen to how it sounds at the moment. This microphone's about £50–60, and before this microphone I had the slightly cheaper Snowball Ice. The reason I had a slight upgrade was because my sister is a singer and she bought the newer version of the Snowball for her own singing, and eventually she just put it into my setup and she used my computer to do her singing, and that's partly why I've gone for the Focusrite 2i2. There is a Focusrite with only one slot for an XLR cable, but this one can have two, so it can have an acoustic electric guitar in it, or a keyboard, which my sister may use in the future. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the camera now to do a bit of audio recording there. So this is the Rhode Videomic Go, which is attached to the top of my Lumix G6, and it's a shotgun mic, so it's a slightly different to the condenser mics, but it's basically getting the audio straight in front of the camera, and is kind of used for when you're out and about and trying to capture audio from a single interviewee. You can probably tell the difference. It's probably not as warm or inviting, but it does have a very accurate tone of the voice. Okay, so I'm going to give this little reading another go. Far, far away, jutting out into the emptiness beyond, like the figurehead of a mighty stone ship, is the edge. A broad, swollen river, the Edgewater, pours endlessly over the lip of rock at its overhanging point, down into the void below. Its source lies far inland, high up in the dark and perilous deep woods. So that's the final microphone, and now I've given them all a chance. And what do you think of all three microphones? Which one do you prefer? Do you think I've gone right with getting the Audio-Technica 2035? And I'm going to go switch over cameras as well now. Okay, so we're back on the Audio-Technica 2035, and this is the microphone that you're going to be hearing from now on, and the VideoMic Pro, which is on top of my G6 camera, will be used mainly for vlogs and things like that, and maybe out and about if I ever do a video maybe about my move when I move in October. But the reason I went for the Audio-Technica 2035 and the Focusrite 2i2 was just generally because they were recommended by a lot of commentators or voice actors as a starting step into the audio realm, because these are expensive. It's probably about £220 for the whole setup, which is a lot of money, but it isn't a lot of money when you are in the audio industry. A few of my friends actually do their own home studio work. One of them is currently going on with it, and he actually records bands for a living. But what I have now I'm very happy with, and I think it was a good investment. And although I'm probably not going to get the investment back anytime soon, maybe not years, but it's just something I wanted to do. And in that vein, I'd say to other people, if it's a hobby you enjoy and you enjoy doing vocals or impressions or things like that, then it can be worth spending money on your audio hardware. If you're thinking, well, I'm going to have this amazing radio voice and it's going to make me so much money on YouTube, then perhaps think again, because unless you have a channel with lots of subscribers already, which honestly I don't in the terms of making money, then it probably isn't the best way to go. Only get it if you want to do it for fun, basically, or if you are a massive channel and you know you can make your money's worth out of it and it will actually add to your business. So for me, this was a hobby edition, whereas somebody else that may be able to justify it could have it as a business edition. So what does everyone else think of the new audio setup? Thank you all very much for watching. Please do leave a comment about the video and any input you have. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button to follow me and see all my new videos that pop up. And do hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, or dislike it if you thought it was absolutely rubbish. Until next time, everybody, Joshino.